Yeah, well, great. Thanks everyone for coming along again this evening. We have got our third or fourth, is it, time of going into SDR play and how best to use it. So you guys have done a fantastic job already for us, and we're very grateful. Would you like to introduce yourselves and what you do for SDR? That might be a good start.
Sure. My name is Mike. Call sign is Kilo Delta 2, Kilo Oscar Golf. I'm part of the technical support staff at SDR Play. I've been associated with SDR Play since 2015-16 and working for them full-time since 2017 to present. Most of my stuff is just in technical support and doing these webinars to bring people up to speed with using our devices and specifically with our software, SDR Uno. And the aim of this webinar is to answer your how do I question. So if I don't have the answer to the question, I will gladly tell you I don't have the answer, but I will get the answer. If I don't have the answer for your question, just leave an email address in the chat or let Andy know. And usually within the next day, I get back to that person with that query.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Very welcome. Thank you for having me.
And who's with you today?
Just myself.
I thought it might be.
Yeah.
Oh, brave man. Oh, really pleased.
No, this is like being with family. This is I think this is the fourth time we've done it, or fifth.
I think it's the fourth, I think, but
fourth,
it might,
I believe. Probably with many more to come.
Well, let's hope so. It's been invaluable to date, so we're very grateful. Who would like to kick off with the question? I can't see everybody.
Before anybody kicks off, I don't know if people are, just to get this out there, if people are mic shy, camera shy, let me open up chat just in case people don't want to get on their microphone, people don't want to be on video. You can query, put questions in the chat. I'm sure Andy will read them and fence them off to me, and we'll take it from there. There's no stupid question. You can ask me anything you want related to SDR Play products or specifically SDR Uno. Those are my strong points. My weak points, Mac and Linux, because I don't use them.
Fair enough. I can't see everyone at the moment. I'm trying to change that. Anyone want to ask a question? Just shout out.
I'm going to jump in for one. Right, Mike, what I'd like you to show me again, I'll give you screen sharing capabilities. What I'd like you to do is just run through how you notch out other adjacent stations.
Sure.
Just so that, let me just give you the share screen in. I think I have already. One moment. There you go. You can screen share now. But just when you notch them out.
Okay, let me know if you can see the screen.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Okay, let me move. I'm going to have to move some things down because as I move the mouse, sometimes the Zoom toolbar zooms down. Okay, so notch filtering. SDR Uno has 4 notch filters labeled N1 through N4. To place a notch, you would go into the RX control panel. Let's bring this down. And you're also going to need the EX control panels. This way you can make your adjustments. And you'll see these adjustments in the aux SP. So the first thing we do is we click on notch number 1. And you're going to see a vertical blue line here. And that's telling you where that notch is placed. If you want to place it in a different location, other than where it is, you can hold down the shift key. You'll see a yellow vertical bar, and then you left click and release, and that's where that notch is going to be placed. And you can do the same thing with notches. You can do that with notches 1 and 2. Notches 3 and 4, there is no visible representation, but you will still see the notch. If you want to adjust the width, which is represented as bandwidth of that notch, let's zoom in a bit. Let's slide this over. And you can see the scoop right here, and there's a void. So as I increase the bandwidth, so does the void of where you're notching. And I'm doing that with the mouse wheel. And the same can be done with notches, 1 through 4. And notches are good if you want to get rid of heterodynes. If people are tuning up, if you're listening to a contest and you hear the tune up, the squeal, and it's super annoying, you can notch that out. If you're listening to a broadcast station and your filter width is a little bit too wide and you want to notch out some of the interfering, to the right or left of the passband, you can notch that out. I can try to do that now. Let's see if we can find the signal. I don't want to bore you guys, but let's see if we can find something. Here's somewhat adjacent. Let's go to AM. Let's bring this into view. And let's say if there was a heterodyne in the passband, there's just noise in the transmission. I can click around and freely notch out that section, and you won't hear it. It's going to notch that audio out at that specific frequency. So it says here, notch 1, a bandwidth of 50, so 50 hertz wide, and it's designated at 4,722, which is right where that yellow marker is. If I want to change it manually, I can adjust it here, or I can just hold the shift key and click around. And as you see, the frequency of where it's being notched is being displayed.
Right.
Did I confuse anyone or any questions or comments?
No, that seems to be
You just have to get used to using it, Andy. It's just a matter of repetition, knowing that that function is there and it's available to you. There's so many features and functions of SDR Uno. Some people get overwhelmed where, you know, I didn't even know I can do that. I didn't even know that that was possible. There's the notch filtering and also the noise reduction and also the wideband noise blanker. It all intertwines into one to trying to recover the signal with as much intelligence as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Reducing the noise, reducing interference.
Yep. No, that's good. Anybody else got any more questions about that before we move on to any more?
Just one question. Is there any plan to do a automatic notch filter feature?
It might be an SDR Connect. I don't know. I don't want to say yes and I don't want to say no. I have in SDR Uno, obviously no. SDR Connect, yes, it's possible, but I don't know. I haven't. All I've seen was screenshots of it thus far. But I know the capability of SDR Uno is going to go to SDR Connect, and it's going to far exceed what SDR Uno is capable of, in upcoming versions of SDR Connect. So I would like to say yes, but please don't hold me to it just in case.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I've got one more now.
Okay.
I'll keep on asking until somebody else wants to jump in. Right. I know that you have an extensive memory bank.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So the first question is two-part question. Where do you download it from, and how do you install it for use, and how do you use it?
Let me share my screen and we'll get right to it. For those that don't know, I personally created all of these banks for myself that are on the, let's get this into view, on the left side of the memory panel. The popularity of the banks, they became popular, so I released them to the community where I edit them and then I re-release new versions. You can download the banks from SDR Play Ham Guides, which is a subsection of SDR Play's website. You can get to SDR Play Ham Guides in one of two ways. Just do a Google search for SDR Ham Guides, which I'm going to do, SDR Play Ham Guides, which I'll do now, or just go to SDR Play's website. And I believe if you go to, I don't recall which section it's in, but it'll take me 2 seconds to find it. Let's go here. And it should be under Ham Guides, under miscellaneous. So you can go straight to Ham Guides from there. And the very top, there's right here, SDR Uno frequency banks, and you can click download. So let's go ahead and download it. And then you say, how do you use it? You can do one of two things. You can watch the video that I've linked in here, or I've just recently created a PDF. It would have helped if I had the right screen in view. Let me re-show you guys. I had the wrong screen in view. My apology. Go to SDR Play, go to miscellaneous, go to Ham Guides, scroll down a bit and go right to downloads. After you download the zip file, you're going to see all the banks. You place those banks wherever you have your memory bank folder assigned to an SDR Uno. Mine is in its default location, which is under My Documents. So I take all of these files and I place them under My Documents, and then I'm able to queue them up in SDR Uno. There's a PDF that you can launch, and it will show you exactly what to do step by step with these memory banks. If you want to edit them, whatever you'd like to do with them. And it's all right there and included in the zip file of how to use these and where to place them and how to place them.
Mm-hmm. Oh, brilliant.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great.
I might be able, you know what? I might be able to drop a direct link in chat in case anybody wants it. Okay, it's in chat if anybody would like those banks. They're available to you. Most of the stations default to input C. You can gladly change that to ANT-A or ANT-B. If using an RSP-1, you don't have to change it. It's going to default to A automatically. It's going to default to the only input that it has. But if you have a multi-input device and you want to change it, just use Notepad and do a find and replace.
Right, okay. Cool, thanks.
Very welcome.
Yeah, this is a great work. So I use them, and I was wondering how long would have taken it to set.
Oh, I've been working on these for years. Yeah, it's, you know, I enjoy giving back to the community. So this is my way of giving back, like the videos and the webinars and the zip files, you know, however I can give back. That's what it's all about. Keeping the ham spirit going.
Yeah, it's really great work.
Thank you. All right, Andy, another question?
Okay, so how do you load up? We'll start with an easy one again. How do you load onto the for the plugins, and how do you set up a DX cluster so that you can use a cluster on the Spectrum?
Okay, I understood two of the questions. The last one, let's go with the last one first, and then we'll go in reverse. DX cluster, you go in the main panel, you click on plugins, you select the DX cluster, and you click load plugin. Let me share my screen. Okay, so we'll go to plugins, DX cluster, load plugin. Bring that window into view. And we'll put my call sign in, Kilo Delta 2, Kilo Oscar Golf, and we'll leave everything else at default, and we'll click start. And it's going to connect to this cluster. You can change it to whatever valid cluster you would like to use.
Oh,
I
right.
believe it uses spider clusters, or it has something to do with spiders.
Mm-hmm.
And then you would see the DX count, how many counts that it's found with being posted to that server. So you would have to scroll up and down the bands to actually see where that cluster popped, you know, where that spot popped up. So as I move up and down, let's see, it's not on 20, could be a little bit higher up. There we go. And that's one spot. Looks like Kilo 5, Charlie Kilo Sierra.
Yep.
All right, let's move up a little bit. It's found 8. And there are additional clusters. If you don't know what a cluster is, it's almost like playing phone. You know, you call somebody up and you wouldn't believe this person's on the air. It's just like that. Somebody heard this station, they might have worked this station, and they're saying, this person is now on the air. You can click on this frequency, you know, click on this location, and you might have a chance to work them. It's just a way of letting somebody know that there's another station out there, but it's going out globally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good. So how did you I might have missed what you were actually doing there. How did you actually just scroll up and down your band so quick?
I click on the RX control panel, and by default, the mouse pointer is going to hover
Right. Yep.
over the digit. So I don't really want to go up and down the band in kilohertz. I really want to go up and down the band in megahertz. So
Yep.
I just mouse over that digit, and it allows me to go up and down the band very quickly.
Very quick. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Now you had the two previous questions I didn't understand. I got the DX cluster. I hope I answered that.
Yeah. No, you've answered that for me. No, the other one was how do you download and install the DX cluster plugin?
It's part of the installation. It's part of the installation of Uno.
Cool.
So it's unless you tell it not to install plugins.
Yeah. Right, okie dokie. Great. Tony M7TON has asked a question. Is there a possibility DSD Plus could be added as a plugin?
If it was open source and there was a way to incorporate that into a plugin, DSD, as far as I know, is a closed source paid for application. If it was open source, then and somebody in the community wanted to write a plugin, yes, and then would have to, send it back to GitHub as a pull, or if the developer of DSD made a plugin specific for SDR Uno. That would be the only option that I could think of getting actual DSD decoder into SDR Uno, with that title of DSD.
Any other questions, anybody?
There's another one in the chat from Zoltan.
Ah, okay, I must have missed it, John.
Hi, Mike. A personal note: it would help a lot if the marker extended into the waterfall when selecting the frequency. It would be easier to rely on the previously broadcast program.
Okay, I can forward that over to Andy in development.
Yeah, that'd be helpful, please.
Yeah, absolutely, I would. I'd be more than happy to do that. Let me just copy and paste myself a note from chat. Hi, Mike, it's a personal note. Okay, not a problem. I'm not saying that it's going to be implemented, but I will definitely forward it over to the development team. Okay, anybody with questions, comments, anything related to SDR Uno? Any new users here? Anybody brand new to SDR Play products? Anybody new to SDR Uno? Do you enjoy it? Are you turned off by it? Is there, any comments, any criticism? If you guys want to throw tomatoes at me, I'm here. It's not a problem.
It's the silence, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just
definitely.
Unless you've got people talking and not realizing that they've got their mics off.
I've got a question.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Not related to the standard software, but I'm very interested in the use of it as a spectrum analyzer, and so I kept quiet because you were all very interested in using it as a receiver. It's pretty terrific, really. It works pretty well, and I've built some diode ring mixers and tested them using the spectrum analyzer software, which you provide for free, and it's terrific. There is a provision for a sweep oscillator to go with it.
I believe through an Arduino device.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the last time I approached this was over a year ago, because I've moved house, and you tend to not be able to do a lot of ham radio when you moved house. You can't find it, for one.
Right.
But now I'm getting back on the bench. Has there been any development in the past year? Because there was some criticism of the sweep generator provision.
Not that I know of, but I'm going to say the best source of that answer would be the developer, which I believe is Steve Andrews.
It was, yes. The last time I looked, it was, yes.
Do I have any inside scoop? No.
Okay.
Unfortunately not. If you're unable to make contact, let me know or let Andy know, and I'll try to make contact on your behalf. Oh,
I'm sure he'll reply. And I'm grateful for the support for something that you really aren't selling it for, but it works pretty good anyway.
Yeah, no, it's phenomenal software. A lot of people, actually, Amateur Logic, it's like a ham radio group. They just did a new show, and actually I'll paste it, and it shows the spectrum analyzer software by Steve Andrews, and it's recent. It was just posted, so I'll find the link. I don't know if you're interested in seeing it, but I'll be more than happy to post the direct link to it in chat.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'll grab that as soon as you posted it.
Sure. I'll do that now in between questions.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time.
Very, very welcome.
I do have another question.
Sure.
Can you explain in which cases I can use the noise blanker wide and noise blanker narrow function?
Well, sure. I can actually demonstrate the wide because I use that almost all the time. Let me bring myself back into view. Okay, let me share my screen. Which should be this one here. Okay, I'm dealing with a lot of wideband noise here. I'm located in Florida, which is the lightning capital of the United States. And as you can see, let me take the resolution bandwidth down. You're going to see my spectrum jump quite a bit. Let me just put myself on C. Okay, see how the spectrum's jumping over here?
Yeah.
Okay, two things that I do. I increase the resolution bandwidth just where I can bring that jumping down to a minimum. And then I engage the wideband noise blanker because I don't have a linear spectrum. Linear means it's nice and flat. There's no signals present here, but I'm still getting these humps. So I can try to remove that noise by enabling the wideband noise blanker and then adjusting it in the EX control panel. And I make ever so slight adjustments. And as you see, meaningful signals start to come through and the humps are almost gone. If I disable it, you're going to basically get nothing. So the wideband noise blanker removes wideband noise, repetitive noise, ignition noise, RF. It's not a one setting fits all. It's a little bit finicky, but once you dial it in on the band that you're getting interference, it really, really makes a huge difference. I have a few videos of it on the SDR Plays YouTube channel. So just look up noise blanker under YouTube in the SDR Play channel, and you'll see that I demonstrate both options. The narrow, I haven't really used the narrow much. I would assume it's just whatever's happening within the IF or the passband of what's creating noise. But mostly I use the wideband noise blanker because it's just a superior function of SDR Uno to get rid of that noise. There's quite a difference from being off to on. Now I'll go to another part of the band where we'll see more noise, like here. That's really bad. Let's see if I can eliminate it. A little bit more manageable. Not 100%, but definitely better than that. And when you're making your adjustments, you want it, with software-defined radios, it's visual, it's your eyes. But as ham radio operators and shortwave listeners or radio enthusiasts, it's our ears. So let your eyes look at the spectrum, let your ears hear the intelligent signal come through. If you adjust it too much, you're going to remove the intelligent data that's being transmitted, and you're not going to hear anything. So it's just a matter of eyes and ears, and you make ever so slight, adjustments in that slider, that noise blanking slider here in the EX control panel. If you get jammed up or if you get confused using the option, feel free to reach out to me, and I'll walk you through it one-on-one if I have to. It's a very, very powerful feature of SDR Uno, and I use this function a lot.
Okay, many thanks, Mike.
Yeah, very welcome. I hope I didn't confuse you, and if my answers confuse anybody or create more questions, please ask them. And like I said, if I confuse you, let me know and I'll rephrase my answer.
Thanks very much.
You're
I've never
welcome.
used that. I've never used that before, but it's interesting because I'll be using it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be using it now. So, Kevin, can I ask, have you actually got an RSP at the moment? Have you got an SDR Play device?
No, I do not.
Right, okay. So, Mike, the next one, because I was talking, when I was last talking with Kevin, I explained to Kevin that as far as I was concerned, as a bit of a novice DXer,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't go. I wouldn't try and even chase the DX on, without having the whole spectrum in front of me.
It's almost should
so
it should
easier.
almost be against the rules.
Yeah. So I was explaining to Kevin about the SDR Play RSPs.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would like you to do is, because he doesn't own one, so it's a potential purchase. I'd like you to run through the selling points and how easy it is to set up, because some people sort of look at a box and think, oh, it's a box of tricks. How do I set it up? What do I need? How do I use it?
Well, after you purchase, I mean, you would download our software, SDR Uno, install it, launch SDR Uno. If you're using it with a rig, you're going to have to install third-party control software called OmniRig. Put your rig preferences in this software. Click one button in the RX control panel, and as you tune the VFO of the rig up and down, SDR Uno is going to tune up and down and represent the same frequency that's on the rig. If you click on signals in the spectrum, the rig is going to change. If you change modes in SDR Uno, upper sideband, lower sideband, AM, FM, the mode will change in the radio and vice versa. It's an extension of your rig, and it's giving your rig a set of eyes versus just a set of ears. And you can point and click on stations if you're contesting, if you're chasing DX, if you're a shortwave listener, anywhere from 1 kilohertz to 2 gigahertz continuous with a maximum bandwidth of 10 megs. And what that means is you can see 10 megahertz of spectrum on the screen up to. Usually I run usually just 2 megs, which is fine for me. And I'm daily, all day. I have this running 8 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Okay.
I'm not a good salesman. I'm more of, I don't know if I could sell you. I could show you, I can handhold and walk you through it, but it's really, the product speaks for itself. I mean, the community, there's a humongous community of people. If you run into any trouble, any questions, and even queries about antennas, coax, adapters, your rig using SDR Uno, there's close to 18,000 users in the SDR Play Facebook group. I think there's 8,000 or 10,000 in the SDR Uno Facebook group. There's close to 5,000, I think, in the group's IO group. There might be more than that. If there is more, my apology for getting the number wrong. There's just, the community is humongous. It's not just, here's a box, you bought it and off you go. No, it's a lot more than that. You get such an ecosystem comes along with it that's very, very hard to come by with any product, not just with radio, I think with anything. When you have a community and camaraderie of people that will help you, it makes the experience more fun. It makes it, like you feel like you're part of something, not just being a ham radio operator, but also, using a software defined radio. It's really not that hard to use. I mean, I always say, if I can do it, anybody can do it.
I guess I would have more of an application question.
Okay.
Not that familiar with it. This is the second session I've sat in, so I'm still taking notes, learning. But where I think maybe a place that I could use it or may help out is our club has a bus converted for emergency communications. Okay. And we have 3 stations in there, and we're always running, portable antennas. And we never know where we're going to be set up. There's always going to be some type of interference. Maybe within the bus, the generator running. We may set up a lot of electrical lines. We never know what we're going to run into spot to spot for interference. You don't know until you fire things up. So currently we're just running, some basic antennas and the radios and band passer.
Okay, so a band pass filter.
Yeah, a surefire band passer, and that's it. So would SDR have any play into that?
Well, when you're monitoring one frequency. You're not monitoring a swath of the band. Do you want to see a chunk of the spectrum? Do you want to see where there's activity? Do you want to monitor with your regular radios and dedicate an SDR receiver to monitor another portion of the band and then QRG over to that frequency? Sure. Are you doing ECOM where you need to maybe monitor a SARS network or something and and report back. I mean, it's having you're getting 16 additional radios with an RSP because you can have up to 16 virtual receivers in that 10 meg of spectrum. So you're really getting 16 more receivers.
Okay. And we don't use, I mean, the bus, that's its main goal is for emergency, but it is our clubhouse. That is our unit that we take to field days and set up to do contesting, state QSO parties. So
I don't mean to interrupt you, but with QSO parties, I can't run a station without the RSP going, especially when you're going one after another after, you know, you want to rack up the queues. You're going for points, you know, and it's almost like every little bit helps. And like I said, I'm not a salesman, but having an RSP lets me see the action. Okay, it's dead over here, propagation is low. Let's monitor 20 while we're on 40.
Sure.
But you're on 40. How are you going to monitor 20?
Yeah. The only way we have that is we've got the YESA 101D, so we have the dual monitor mode. But obviously you're still only using one and kind of just watching the other.
Have you ever heard of the Kiwi SDRs or the online software-defined radios?
No, not that familiar. I'm a little new to ham radio myself, so I'm kind of I'm at the experimental stage.
I'm going to say, if you have pen and paper, write down, I believe if you type in Kiwi, Kiwi, Kilo India, Whiskey India, Kiwi SDR, and you'll be able to click on various SDRs throughout the world that are online and live. And you can tune them and adjust the filtering just like if you were there, just like it's plugged in at your house. You can try that and get familiar with that to see if you like the idea of software-defined radio, of a visual representation of signals, pointing and clicking, manually adjusting the filtering, noise reduction, noise blanking, all the different features and functions. And if that is enticing to you, if that lures you into it, then absolutely consider an RSP-1A from SDR Play. I mean, you're getting a tremendous bang for your buck at an entry-level price. Sure. That comes off as a salesman, but that is honest to God truth.
And I would look at it as maybe getting one for one of the stations and let everybody kind of learn with it and grow and say, oh, and then that might develop, hey, I might just use this at home too.
I like I said, 7 days a week, 8 to 10 hours a day, SDR Uno is constantly running. Not because, I have to do it for work. It's also because I love what I do. I mean, this SDR Uno is a phenomenal piece of software. I won't use anything else. I mean, it's compatible with a plethora of different software. I don't have to use SDR Uno. I want to use SDR Uno. It is absolutely probably one of the best front ends, in my opinion. And this is going to be played back in recordings, and I might get bashed for it. Well, I'm fine with that. But SDR Uno, in my opinion, is one of the best pieces of software I've ever touched, even way before I joined SDR Play.
Oh, great. Thanks. It gives me a little direction to go with it. Say,
if you have any, questions or comments, or, even before you make that purchase, I'll be more than happy to help you. So you can reach out to me. I mean, the address is, I can give you my email address. Actually, I'll put it in chat, and that extends to anybody that's watching this. I'll be more than happy to answer questions when it comes to our products and our software.
Because one of our aspects too is, it's club used for events. We have it main design as emergency communications. And probably the most is we're in the public and we're doing education with it.
What I use it for emergency stuff is I'm in, obviously we're in hurricane season. I'm in Florida. Now I can watch the news and I get the news report. That's fine. Sometimes I just want to hop on HF and get a weather fax because I want to see where the actual hurricane storm is going. And I'll actually decode a live fax that's being broadcasted on HF. This is where I can make a decision if I need to sit or if I need to go. Okay. And I mean, it's just another tool that I have, besides watching the news, besides monitoring NOAA weather. I mean, I'll monitor NOAA weather on an RSP just to see like what's happening, what's going on. The same goes with, world news events. I like to listen to shortwave stations. I like to hear their side of the story coming from the source versus, a filtered type of response. What's their take on things? So using an RSP really opened up my eyes to different world events, different world views, different music, different cultures, just, different humans in general. The way I do things is different than the way everybody does things, and that's what makes us unique. You know, and it's a really exciting thing for me to be able to hear stations from, you know, the other side of the world. I mean, people can say, yeah, you can listen to it on the internet. It's not the same. It really isn't. At least it's not for me.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. That's
very welcome.
Good information and something I can take and run with the ball.
Well, my email address is in chat. You're welcome to email me if you have questions about our products or about our software. Or if, in worst case scenario, if you have a query and you don't want to email me direct, you can create a support ticket at sdrplay.com/help, create a ticket, and it's just would be labeled under pre-sales question. And one of us will get back to you easily within 24 hours.
All right. Sounds good.
Mike, how can we hear your audio? How can we actually hear it from your screen? To give because of the best way of demonstrating it is because if people can hear the different stations as you're clicking, and they'll see how responsive and how fast the interchange is as you're going through.
Let me share my screen, and I know I have to select. Did audio come through?
No.
Okay, let me just change frequencies. Let me know as soon as you hear audio, if somebody gives me like a thumbs up or.
Yeah, no worries. No. No. No.
No audio is coming through?
No audio is coming through.
I don't, Zoom allows it. I just don't remember what option it was. And the last time I used Zoom is the last time I was in the show with you.
And you had
remember what I clicked? Then. Huh?
It was working well then.
Yeah, I totally forgot how to do it.
I think it's an option when you go into the screen share, isn't it? So as if you stop screen sharing, when you then screen share again, I think it's an option when you go in.
Okay, so let's try this. Let's try that. Share screen. Okay, share sound. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Thanks, Emily.
All right, let's see if this works.
Yeah,
audio?
that's better.
Okay.
Yeah, audio.
Okay, let's go somewhere where there's not going to be noise.
En la cabeza, no sé si le han brindado asistencia médica, no.
He doesn't want to vaccinate everybody with it.
Y les propuso una parábola. Un hombre rico tuvo una gran cosecha.
Let's put this low. We'll just tune to this broadcast. I'm on 12.050, which is shortwave broadcast. I don't know where it is. I think it's most likely Radio Marte. I'll bring the volume up and I'll show you guys how I personally make adjustments. When I'm listening to shortwave stations, I like to put it in synchronous AM mode. One of the things with HF is that you'll notice that when the carrier, this is the carrier, drops, you'll get fading in the station. So let's see if we can go to a weak signal and I can demonstrate the fading. And when I go to synchronous AM, there is no fading. That's just one option. Let's find the weak one. Okay. Now listen as she's talking, it's gonna the volume is gonna increase and decrease as this carrier here increases and decreases. Okay, you can hear that it's dropping. A little bit of hash. And now I'm in synchronous. Very minimal fading because SDR Uno is injecting a carrier and it's going to lock onto that. When I want to make adjustments to the filtering, what that means is how much audio bandwidth do I want to bring through into my ears? Now, this station is roughly about 8K wide. So 4 to the right, 4 to the left is 8K wide. So I can narrow it, or I can widen it. With strong transmissions like this one here,
the delegation even came from Navarra and of the country. Vinieron de La Habana y tuvimos una revisión del país e hicimos una.
And you can see as I'm making adjustments. So you have options in SDR Uno to adjust your filtering in the aux SP. You can use preset filter here for that specific mode. You have a noise reduction feature. So if there's noise in the transmission, let's see if we can get rid of some noise. Let's find the weak station. That one's very weak. That's about as good as I'm going to get that station. Now we'll disable everything we've done. Nothing there. We'll go back. Still weak, but I have an audible signal. Okay, let me just stop sharing. And that's basic tuning in SDR Uno. I mean, you can adjust the filtering, adjust the noise blanker, adjust, the noise reduction. It's, if a signal is extremely, extremely weak, nothing is going to bring that weak signal out. I mean, if it's like barely above the noise floor, I don't know of any black magic that will bring that back. But there are functions and features in SDR Uno that will help reduce the noise and try to get some intelligence out of that signal to where you can monitor it. I mean, there's even a third-party plugin for SDR Uno, which is an EQ. And what all an EQ is doing is boosting or lowering specific frequencies, in volume. And you can boost the highs, drop the mids and the lows, and really bring that station through. I mean, I swear by using an EQ, especially with weak signals. I mean, it really brings out that station.
So would a good application be picking up that POTA guy that's running under 20 watts?
Yeah, I mean, any even like any weak signal. I mean, an EQ is definitely going to help, in my opinion. Some people say no, but I've done comparisons using one and not using one, and there's a huge difference, tremendous difference. I mean, here, let's go back to that signal. Let's see if I can pull it out of the.
And sometimes it's a matter of you can faintly hear him, but if you can adjust his tone a little bit.
That's where the EQ comes in. Exactly. But you're not adjusting. Now, here's the other thing. You're not adjusting the tone of the person. You're adjusting the tone of the noise. That's the way I look at an EQ, is I want to shape the noise to get rid of it. So most noise is in the mids. It's white noise is in mids and highs. So get rid of the mids and the highs, just a little bit, just to round off that hash.
Okay.
But I can try to demonstrate it if you guys want me to. Yes,
yeah, please. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Sorry, I had to unmute. Yeah, please.
I think you might be sharing the wrong screen, Mike.
Say again?
I think you might be sharing the wrong screen.
That's very possible. I'm on a run today with getting the wrong screen or not sharing. So let's try that again. Here. Is that better?
That's better.
Yeah, it's better. Thank you.
Okay, that's without EQ. And that's pre, that's post. You know, not a humongous difference, but it's definitely a noticeable difference to where I can at least understand, you know, what's being said. If I'm working DX and I'm getting hash and noise, but I can barely make out the station transmitting, I'm going to enable the EQ. I'm going to try the noise reduction. I have, you know, there's different tools in the shed for, you know, to try to accomplish the same task, get rid of the noise, increase the signal intelligibility.
I think it just shows you how versatile Uno is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
very
amazing
powerful.
for the kids. Yeah, absolutely.
And the best part, it's free.
And that's good value for money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any other questions, folks? Shout out if you have one.
Well, if there are no other questions, I just want to say thank you guys for having me. I hope I answered everyone's questions. I hope I didn't confuse anyone. If there is a next one, which I'm sure there will be, please come to the next show that Andy presents, and I'll be more than happy to answer the questions. You know, just make a list, whatever you want to ask. Like I said, if I don't have the answer, I want to be honest and tell you, I don't know, but I will find out, and I will get back to you with that answer.
That sounds brilliant. Thank you very much. Thanks, Mike. That's very interesting as always. Can you stop the recording, please, Andy?